Alright, so I've got my dialogue actors set up. I need to start making the conversations. I guess I'll do this zombie first. And I actually didn't make I didn't make an actor for the zombie. I don't know if I should or shouldn't have, but we'll leave this one without an actor and see if there's a good reason to use the actor feature. I've used the actor feature before for things um, like when I need to keep track of characters for logic, like involving, how much they like you. So you can go in and add additional fields like affinity or something like that, how much they are friends with you, and then you could increment that based on dialogue options that are made. And so that could be a good reason for using actors in this database of actors. But I am not implementing that kind of a system here. So anyway, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to do the zombie conversation first because it's going to be so easy. One thing, you hit plus to create a new conversation. Something that is easy to overlook is naming the conversation. So you can see by default it says new conversation 3. If I click in blank space over here, then it'll change my inspector to give me info about this conversation. So you could either rename it there, or you could rename it, you can't rename it there. So this is how I'm going to rename it then. Alright, so we're going to call this gate zombie. And I'm going to right click and create a node, and it'll just connect down to there. I can see it's a conversation between the player, and right now it says James, but I'm just going to put none. And I'm going to change this new dialogue entry. So blue ones are actually the player. And then like gray ones, like it used to be gray, are the other actor. So I can already kind of see an issue here. When I changed it to none, it like switched it to the blue player thing, and I don't want to have to change this the whole time to none. So I've already got a reason that I'm going to go in and change this to use an actor. So I'm going to click on the actors tab again, and I'm just going to make one called zombie. There we go. And there may be more than one zombie in my game, but maybe I can get away with just using that. Alright, so we go back to conversations, and I'm going to click in the middle of blank space here and readjust this to say that it's a conversation between the player and the zombie. Although, you know what, I kind of want to see how the defaults work. So I think I might actually just delete this conversation. So I'm going to delete this conversation, and I'm going to make another new one. Oh yeah, it does have the player first. Okay, well that's what I want to keep. So player and zombie, we'll call this gate zombie again. And I'm going to right click, create node, and now by default it is the zombie talking if I click on this. And so I'm going to make it say something like, actually as well, so you can either type in where it says dialogue text, or you could double click on this and type in here. So I don't know, zombies are just like grrr. Something like that, I don't know. I guess I could make it say brains. I don't know. Normally they don't really say brains in film, I guess is what I mean by normal. I don't exactly see zombies normally. So now that I've made that conversation, I can click on this gate zombie here, and I am going to find its, if I expand it, it should have this NPC prefab that I added to it. And I want to just change its conversation. Instead of being on test conversation, it's going to be on gate zombie. Now if you don't see your new conversation here, it's probably because you made a new dialogue database, and you just need to make sure you're using that database. And I guess I have this actor here. I might as well change it to zombie. And again, you could set up some of this stuff if you wanted, but I'm not gonna. The other thing I want to check, if you remember, we have our dialog manager. Like, this is kind of the key essence of dialogue system. Every scene needs to have it. It's smart enough to, if you put it in your first scene, it uses like a little singleton pattern to make sure you don't get more than one of them ever. Anyway, you want to make sure that your dialog manager prefab in your scene. I'm actually going to go up here and just like collapse that so it's a little easier to deal with this hierarchy. You want to make sure that it has the correct database in place here. So if you made a new one, make sure you're using the new one that you made and not just this generic one that I included with the test starter kit thing. Alright, so let's test out the game and see if I can talk to the zombie now. So turn around and run over there. Yeah, so that's working. So you can kind of see an issue here where like I'm not really nearby. I'm not like looking at the zombie, but I can still talk to him. Oh, and also he's got like intelligent bark text, which I don't want. So let's look at both those problems. So the bark thing first. If I click on the zombie, I can go ahead and find his NPC, and I'm going to get rid of bark on. Well, I guess I'm not going to get rid of it, but if I ever wanted him, I guess I could have him just bark this stuff. So maybe I should just make a zombie barks setup here. So I'm going to go back to the dialogue, and let's take a look at our test barks, and you can see how this works. It's got these 3 nodes. So there's 3 options, and then I guess so normally how dialogue system works is if you look at the links, you can check the priority, and if any of them are set to like higher or lower, it can use that as a decision making process here. But I'm guessing that my bark on idle thing here just has some kind of logic to pick one at random. Yeah, see, bark order random. So that must be how it works. So I'm going to go back and make a new one. I just checked out the test one to kind of understand the setup. So I've got a new conversation. Let's call it Zombie Barks. Oops. And it's going to involve the zombie. And I'm going to hit create node. And this one will be another grr. And then I can make another one that is like similar, like a moan. Moo. I don't know. Trying to get my onomatopoeia down here, and it's not working so good. It's like a cow. And we can make another one. And we can actually, this is kind of a good test for if you go back and look at the test conversation, or I'm sorry, the test barks. You see one of them has the EM1, like for yawn. I will go, like that's like a way to use these style tags, I guess I'd call them, emphasis tags. So to see what that does, if you go back to the database and you go to emphasis settings, and I look at emphasis 1, it's like this blue color. Maybe I should make like a cool zombie text. Red seems pretty good and bold. I don't know if I want to do underline or anything like that, but we'll just see. Let's just try red first and see what that's like. So anyway, I wanted to have them like drooling. We'll just go with the classic brains. So if I want to add these emphasis tags, you can go in here and just, you kind of have to manually, as far as I know, type the tags in. So it's in the regular brackets, forgot which one I used already, EM2. So conversations, EM2, close bracket, and over here we want to put a like a closing tag, kind of like HTML or XML formatting here. And we can try, you know, maybe I'll just leave this one like that, and then the others I won't, and we'll just see what it looks like, how the difference is. So I have to go back to my zombie here and look at her NPC and go find the bark on idle, and this time I want to use zombie barks. I'll leave it on random. And let's give it a shot. So if you don't like how the UI looks, you can actually adjust that by changing this template there, and also by adjusting the height, like in this offset. So actually I didn't get a good look at it, but if it looks like the talk bubble needs to be adjusted to look like it's coming from the zombie, I may want to, ooh, that didn't work. I wonder why. I think maybe my tags aren't agreeing or something. Let's go check it out. Yeah, I forgot to put the 2 in the EM2 here, and it looks like every time I click here it just pops back to the front, which is annoying. So I'm gonna have to fix it by clicking in there. That's being frustrating too. I just want to click in here, guys. I don't know why it's being so frustrating. Let's see what happens if I use the cursor. There we go. I'm beating the system by using the cursor, and we'll go put a 2 there. So now the tags agree. See, before I had EM2 and then I just had no, it was just EM with no 2. I think that should fix that issue. And maybe to make it more like faster to test, I guess, if I go back to the zombie NPC, I can go over to the bark thing and make it just bark every second. And we can make it go sequential so that it systematically will show me all of the barks. Yeah, there's the red one. Kind of think I should just make all the zombie barks red, and it will be kind of neat to do a different font and make it more scary looking, but I'm not going to do that right now, at least. And so, okay, let's change the I'm going to go ahead and change this back to like every 7 to 12 seconds or something. Oops, that's not 12. And we can make it random. And yeah, there we go. So there's the zombie barks. But the next thing I want to do is adjust the hitbox on this. So this zombie is like out of the playable space. So what I'm going to do is, because remember I'm going to put like a wall there. So what I'm going to do eventually is just change its capsule collider position, like by moving it here. But really, like, a capsule collider isn't going to be what I want to use. I'll probably change it to like a box collider eventually. Guess I can set that up now. I'll just turn that one off, because like, since this is a prefab, I don't think it's going to let me. Oh, it did. There we go. I removed the capsule collider. And let's just go ahead and add a box collider. We'll pull that up here. And I want it to be like where I imagine this fence is gonna be. So I need to kind of adjust its. Actually, if you click this little guy, you can do it in the editor, which makes it a little easier, I think. And it doesn't have to be perfect here, just close enough, I guess. In fact, depending on where I put this zombie later, I might only want it to be like in a certain spot. Alright, so that works. So now if I hit play, I think in theory I should be prompted to talk to the zombie when I get nearby the fence there. There we go. Cool. Later we'll try to make it so he maybe he does in a special animation or something when I talk to him or something like that. Alright, I'm gonna stop this one here. You can basically use this technique that I just showed you to create conversations for all these. I'm gonna stop this one in the interest of saving hard drive space, I guess, but maybe I'll record doing the rest. Alright, I'll see you in the next video.